Greetings ASLers, we're back to it and we're going to show you the replay of extracurricular activity. If you want to look at the strategy and the scenario dissection that we've done before, look at the previous video that I just released a couple days ago, whenever this one may be released. Check out that one. It should be readily apparent which other scenario it is. It goes into the scenario analysis, scenario special rule analysis, weapon specializations, what you should be expecting from your side, what you should be expecting from your enemy sides, and both units' capabilities. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the setup. I kind of ignored some of the setup in the beginning, but of course you could just read the scenario card and kind of dissect it from that perspective. But I will go over my setup here. Take a look at the Russian setup. This is what you need to do when you sit down to your opponent. The Russian sets up first. The Hungarian sets up on board second. And so what you'll see based upon the OB, how to decipher where your opponent may or may not have dummies, where he might have real units, where's big stacks of units, where's HMG is going to be. Again, he's got ATRs, a couple LMGs, HMG. So we need to try to decipher where those items might be. Does it really matter? Maybe not. Maybe we just have to cover open ground. Who doesn't really matter where he puts his units. He's going to get all of his shots off anyway. But this way you can help prepare for the next battle in terms of where his strengths might lie. And again, based upon his setup, will determine what our setup is going to be. Notice that from the scenario card, let me get it right here. The Hungarian setup is as follows. Setup on east of hex row O and or enter on or after turn 1 along the east edge, which will be the right side for you guys. So, anytime a scenario has the or enter on turn 1 or later, you have to ask yourself, so what? So what, Stu? Why do we need that? Why do we need that information? Is that something that might be of value to us? And then, what I did is I've been starting to incorporate that just to try it, just to see how the scenario is going to develop a little differently if you were to hold some guys off a turn or two. Most of the time it won't matter, because half the time, especially in this one here, you'll see that most of your troops are going to be kind of like jammed into certain areas because the map is so small. If you have more maps, a wider map, a wider attack path, multiple objectives to get to, you might want to just put them on the board anyway. They might be useful on turn 1. And so we're going to go with that. So let's go down to the board and recall that I'm going to follow through with that, adding units further in the game to see what opportunities might develop, because if you leave them off, your opponent might forget that they're going to come on. So that's something that you also could take into consideration. Let's say his unit breaks and he goes, oh shit, I'm going to do this, and he has to make an adjustment to his force. Or maybe he pushes forward, maybe a couple of your guys broke and he pushed forward to put the pressure on and he forgot that you had reinforcements coming on. You know, take into consideration most of the starter kit same scenarios. Scenario 6 and SK6, you know, release from the east. If the Russian has units that are apart from the map, he's going to bring those units on. I think it was turn 3, and that's typical scenario. Is he going to bring them on the flank? Most likely he's going to bring them on the flank. But if the German's overcommitted there, he'll bring them on somewhere else. Same sort of thing. Analyze where your opponent's committed, and then you can bring them on a different avenue. I did the same thing on my replay of it's a popular tournament scenario. It's got the cheap armored cars. But anyway, I delayed a platoon and a leader, maybe even an LMG, of my Germans from coming on against the Poles. It's one of the early Polish scenarios. I can't remember the name of the scenario. I did a video on it on my tournament, one of my other tournament games. Anyway, what I did there, and I saw the actual benefit for that, is, again, you've got enough units to get the job done, or at least get him to figure out what he's going to fire at. Maybe he'll fire a little bit more earlier because there's, quote, fewer units on the map. But turn 2, you could bring those units on and, you know, swoop through whatever adjustments he may have made, because you're still on the board edge. You're not going to get that far in one turn's movement typically, especially in an urban environment. You're going to bypass a couple hexes. You're going to move anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5 hexes tops. You don't want to expose yourself, and so on and so forth. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the map and take a look at the setup and get this bad boy rolling. All right, here's the game setup. We have the Hungarians, the ELR Sniper 2, Russians, ELR Sniper 3, ELR 3 Sniper 2. Victory conditions. We've got our little cheat sheet chart here. This is the condensed version of Neil's scenario summary chart. Absolute blast. It's Christmas. Happy, Merry Christmas. Here we have a couple counters. This is a WC3 for Civ, civilian interrogation, and one in the Hungarian color WC4, which is a wind change 4 for civilian interrogation. These are simply reminder chits. We can zoom in. These are simply reminder chits for the wind change. Otherwise, you just kind of forget. And here's the scenario special rules. I think my opponent set this up, so it's really cool. I have those scenario special rules right there. Really useful. So you could use them in a variety of ways. Let's see if we can cram this on the board right here. All right, that's kind of crammed in right there. I'm going to zoom out just one little level. What are we at right now? 115. Here we go. So let's get straight to it. Remembering from the scenario card, Russians have 10 units, 3 leaders. If you don't remember the leaders, let's assume he's got 2. HMG, LMG, ATRs, and 9 concealments and 2 tanks. Remember, we start on board, which means he can't grow concealments until after we're placed. My guys don't have concealments, but I'll go over my setup right now. But these are like after the concealment place, so this is right at the beginning of the game. But I'll go through my setup here. But looking at what the Russians have, number 1, how many concealments does he have? Well, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So therefore, he's burned all of his concealments from his OB into performing or allowing his units to start concealed regardless of where they are. So all of these units, therefore, all of these units will be actual enemy units. I'm not sure if I realized that before the game. I think I may have or may not. Again, I just did a quick count. First of all, I glanced at it, like, okay, which one of these guys is going to be a dummy? First thing I thought was this guy bottom corner. I thought he was going to be a dummy because most players put dummies on the flanks. Try not to do that, people. I think it's extremely obvious where your dummies are. To be honest with you, I think I found a little bit more effectiveness of the dummies kind of being intermixed back here. You know, if you're going to have 3 stacks of units here, let's say 1 stack might fire, and then the other one might be given an opportunity to fire, but it's like, give your opponent the ability to think, if I was my opponent, I probably wouldn't have fired that guy either. So that's kind of what you want to drop into it. These guys up here, what am I going to do to this guy? Turn 1. What am I going to do to this guy? I'm going to rush him. If he's a dummy, it's irrelevant. I'm going to rush through there anyway and take all the firepower I could get. I'm taking -2 shots. I'm just going to be blitzing this guy. This guy, To be honest, he's out of reach. You know, that guy's out of reach. Look how far he is. He's down the block. I'm not bypassing this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bouncing back. This tank can just swivel and fire. This unit up here can fire on the bypass. It's highly unlikely that this guy's going to be a dummy. Same thing with the guy in the middle. There's just too much fire that I'll be taking getting to him. Let's say I bypass Nemeth and bypass one, either side, right? Because these are row houses. Bypass the top side, you're going to get fired upon from the tank. He'll have to change his covered arc. Or this unit up here, because he's going to have line of sight probably in this area on those hex sides. So the rush to get up there, not so much. Maybe in the back, maybe take that shot, make him make that shot. You know, might be blocked, might not be blocked. And then you kind of creep your way up there. So I'm not getting very far there. Here, I can get right up on him. Simply because his line of fire is going to be directly down this path here. Right down here. So he's going to fire that way. Pretty much straight. It's unlikely that he's going to see, probably can't see O3. Probably can't see M3. That'd be super close. N3 out of the question. So my guys can advance down this roadway for the most part, bypass these two hexes. And again, this unit here, if you take a look at the unit that's in that building right here, he's got pretty much just an L3 shot. I could be bypassing this hex side here, the top or bottom, and it's unlikely that he's going to have a line of sight to those ones. So that's a pretty clean approach. Unfortunately, it's in the mouth of the dragon, because you've got pretty much his biggest stacks. You've got a stack here, stack here, stack here, stack here. You know, probably LMG here, HMG almost 100% of the time here, although it could be anywhere. I don't assume anything when I play the game. He can easily have one leader and a double LMG double squad set up here, 12 firepower. It could be exactly the same. That would actually be very conducive, because that means he'd have a wider range of firepower, or wider breadth of LMG fire, because LMGs are not restricted by covered arc, fixated. And we're going to go into that later. I'll show you one of my routes, and that will help accentuate the fact that if he fires on him, he's screwed. Obviously, in this case, since all the Russians are real, squad, 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 squad. And he's probably got a squad in every hex, right? So what do we have here? Likely a leader. 4 hexes or 4 counters here. Likely a leader. A whole shitload of guys here. Likely a leader, probably his best one. Those are the assumptions when you're going into the game. They might be wrong. And if you're setting up, you might want to swap up that sort of routine. Unless you don't care that he knows where your guys are. Right? Make him guess. Make him think the 9-2 is up here. Instead, you've got the 9-2 and the HMG down here. That's going to set down a fire lane, a brutal fire lane somewhere. You know, you never know. So that's the idea behind that. So that's the quick synopsis. Tank in the front. Again, 85L. Let's look at the to kill on the 85L. Let me see if I got one of Neil's charts here. Yeah, I do. It's through the cart. Anyway, 85L. This is what we're looking at. Right here. That's a 17 to kill. What's our armor in the front? 6. Let's say he hits the superstructure. Makes it an 8. It's still a 9 for a shock. An 8 for destruction. Pretty much if he hits, he's going to kill the 85s. Side shots are freebies. They're all explosions. On the back side, what is our to kill number on him? His armor is 11. Yep, his armor is 11. Our 105 has a 14 to kill. We need a 3 for a shocker and a mobilization. You'd be better off just trying to fire for deliberate immobilization instead of just shooting him to kill. Again, the problem is, what happens? He's turreted. Essentially, he's just a pillbox at that point. So 105s, again, this is another reason why do I have 4 105s in this game if they can't scratch the 85s? Well, maybe their purpose is something else. And that something else, when you click on the unit, we have smoke discharger 5, and we have smoke 7. The smoke 7 will go up to, and we have Schweitzen on the tanks. Who cares about that? Yeah, who cares about that? Smoke 7 goes up to 8 based upon our elite status. So we have a smoke 8 on these units, and that's it. The elite status does not affect the smoke discharger because that is not an ammunition depletion number. It'd be nice if that went up as well. I gotta be honest with you. I've got it. So that would be super nice. So that's a whole shitload of a menu. All right. So smoke for these guys. So since they can't kill the tanks, you could smoke them. You could smoke your infantry approaches again because you are winning for the infantry. The infantry is what is going to win you the game. The tanks are not going to win you the game. You can't even occupy the building or building hexes with the vehicles. Neither side can. So the vehicles, other than allowing your troops to get to the destination, have no direct physical occupational impact on the victory conditions. Surviving crews do, but the vehicles themselves do not. Luckily, I love these vehicles because simply because they have a +1 to hit. They're small target size. Got to take advantage of that. Lovely vehicles, small target size. Shermans, not so much. Regular size vehicles here, and we're going to go with that. So my setup here, again, we analyzed the Russians. Snipers placed back here, close to 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Because I think these are non-targets, and so that's barely legal. And his snipers placed in the center, essentially center of all my units. Both sniper 2s, I don't anticipate much sniper activity. And if you do get sniper activity, somebody's getting smoked or getting waxed. All right, typical setup up here, 137 on the top. This guy is strictly a distraction. One, he can get to this building here and J1 without getting shot by the tank. Okay? Might get shot by this guy or this guy, but he's not getting shot by the tank. Also, again, realizing what the nationality capabilities give you for the Hungarians, they have Panzerfausts. If this unit gets within closer proximity, this essentially is a stopgap for this tank and doing an end around and getting behind my units in case they break. So if I park this unit up into K1 and just sit him there the rest of the game, is this unit in J3 going to fire on him? That's a 4+3 attack against a half squad. If he is, then you're winning the game. Okay? So he has a Panzerfaust toting half squad, and also if this unit happens to exhaust his fire capabilities, you can possibly try to get behind the unit, behind that particular unit by scooting this way and breaking some route pass. 137 can do that. All right, let's take a look at these other units. 137 on as a rider on top of the tank. Why do we have riders? Because it's 1944, baby. And I'd rather take a 0 shot than a -2 shot. If he breaks and then he dies on the bailout, so be it. But at least my modifier is a 0 instead of a -2. Look at any of the charts way back when on how modifiers affect your survivability. Let me pause. Let me see if I can get that out my ASL annual. Anyway, not quite so sure where it is, but might be in a general or one of the old ASL annuals. There is a comparison of how effective your simple 4 firepower shot, which is the base attack in ASL, and the modifiers therein cause or inflict upon your enemy's units. So 0 modifiers, it's, based upon that, and then every positive modifier on how the percentages decrease in your effective shots, and the negative modifiers on how they increase the effectiveness of those shots, however small. Anyone that's been subjected to 1 residual firepower moving in the open or a fire lane with the same equivalent firepower knows that they're going to get their asses kicked All right. 1 firepower -2 means you are being subjected to a pin task check most of the time. Pin task check are better, of course. So that's the one chart. Okay, 1 -2. That should tell you all you need to know about not giving your opponent the -2 modifiers. ASL is about give and take. If you give him the -2, your opponent will likely take it, and you will most likely pay for it. So don't give him the -2, give him a +2. If he should happen to roll low, so be it. But most of the time, he's going to have to expend multiple shots in getting that result of a DM'd unit or worse. So again, riders, don't be afraid of riders. The second thing the riders do is it draws attention. When that guy's driving down the road, and you'll see this later in the game, I will point it out, it will draw attention because your opponent might get trigger happy. You know, he might have an itchy trigger finger. Oh my God, there's a 137. He's not in a stone building. Let me fire him up. He's a 137. He gets smoked, right? He first fires a unit. If any one of these units in the front first fires, their subsequent first fire shots are going to be half as effective. That's the entire point in drawing fire. If I get this unit to draw fire, at any shot, any move into L3, assuming he can take that shot, it's going to be a 2+2 or 2+3, depending on how you move. 2+2 is utter garbage. Look at your columns. You need a 3 for a normal morale check. You are virtually immune to that unit. Because the Snake Eyes will drop his fire down by cowering, correct? So he needs a 3 for a result. A 4, 1 out of 3 of the 4 results will be a cowering as well. And that would also be on this. So he legit only has a couple dice rolls to affect you in that position. So first firing a unit with a unit that you can bait him with can be very effective if you need to get into position somewhere. All right, next stack here. Here's my first stack of 8 firepower plus a leader. And I've just got an extra squad just because they're going to be moving in a stack, mind you. I think they are. Same thing here. 8 firepower, 9 -1, 3, 4, 7. I usually split my -1 leaders up. That way, the -1 leader here, I kind of use them both dual purpose as a rally point and a directing fire. Simply because we're in stone buildings, we can get units up into locations over here, take up a couple pot shots, and then the firepower return, as you could see with the Russian setup, he's split most of his units up, so he will really not have an extremely effective fire groups. He's not intending to shoot at me too much in stone buildings. Right? These units are simply to cover the open ground spaces and fill the voids where my units might be rushing through. Especially here and here. Those are row houses. He's not even going to fire adjacent on those units. He's not even going to fire adjacent. Those simply to cover the open ground hexes. All right. So next squads. Here we go. 2 squads. LMG 8 -1. This unit you might beg to say, Stu, your 8 -1's kind of isolated. Yes, he is. That could be a tactical error for me. Absolutely. But what else does it do? It also draws fire, or maybe not, away from other units. If I'm plowing my big guys through here, he's going to retaliate. He's going to fire on those units. Do I want my 8 -1 leader in there? No. My 7-0 is not even going to be in there. Just my guy's going to be bodies moving up. 7-0 will be in the back. It's quite cluttered down here. It's highly unlikely that he will counterattack. Therefore, any rally points, say M10 or any one of these locations down here, will be quite available for that 7-0 to do his job. The 8 -1 can therefore possibly stretch upon a flank shot and get, especially if he can enter K6 effectively, 1, he can use his leadership modifier to affect a Panzerfaust attack on that tank since he's within range. And 2, he can drop a fire lane down here to stop these units from getting back across to safety. Right? So the 8-1 can drop that fire lane with the LMG. Again, we just discussed how effective a 1-2 attack can be, and stop or at least limit the accessibility of these units getting the hell out of Dodge. Right? Putting that unit in that location here. Is it perfect? No, especially since I'm sitting right on top of his sniper. It's going to put that unit at risk. But again, it's a 2 sniper. I don't even pay attention to 2 snipers. I hardly pay attention to 3 snipers. Right? Can that usually lose you the game? Yeah, but you're talking about a dice roll. You're talking about snake eyes. If I'm rolling snake eyes, if this 8-1 and 8 firepower rolls a snake eyes on his leader crossing there, guess what? He just lost a squad and he just lost a leader. What did I lose? I might have a unit broken and I might have a unit pinned. Or if you get unlucky, a leader eliminated or wounded. We don't have very far to go. And leaders at this point really don't affect their victory conditions. Only the squads, simply because we don't have enough leaders to qualify for that squad equivalent. Again, we're short 1 single-man counter. And unlikely that you're going to get all 5 leaders in there anyway. So leaders are, quote, semi-expendable in that sort of aspect. Its ability to drop down fire is much more important. Next unit, another 8 firepower stack. Again, we have 5 LMGs. Last stack, 8 firepower stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every single stack we have is 8 firepower. That means if we get adjacent to somebody, advanced fire, 8 firepower. Okay? And we have, again, 2 half squads here for scouting purposes. We have a half squad here as a bait draw. And we have a half squad here for a flank protection from the tank. Again, this tank can simply roll up to K2 and blast the living shit out of my guys. Unless, of course, I have a throwaway unit here that can Panzerfaust them at a range of 1. I don't know about you, but I'm not taking that chance with my 234-85. Not happening. Next thing, notice I only have 2 of my SP guns on. I'm leaving 2 guys off, and these guys I've hipped. These are full squads. So I've left 2 tanks off and 2 full squads off. It's up to him to count units. He could count units. So these are going to be coming on later. I don't even know when these units are coming on. It all depends on what these tanks are going to do. You notice his tanks are here and here. Let's clear the map. What are his fire opportunities? Straight down the row. Can't move my tank down here. This other guy, straight down the row. Can't move him there. His covered arc is also down here. Yeah. Not a lot of tank action. He could fire up through here and down through there. Not a lot of tank action to get behind him. So I'm going to be slicing in between these buildings. So if I'm slicing in between these buildings, right? Do I need 2 tanks? 1 there and 1 here? No. They're just going to get in each other's way, to be honest with you. Especially if I'm bypassing hex sides. If I'm bypassing this hex side here, the other tank has to go this way. Maybe I don't want that tank to go that way. Right? Only 1 tank per hex side. So, the same thing up here. Is this tank going to go up here? Probably not. He's going to go up here? Probably not. You're going to get destroyed. Where do you think I'm going to take my SP gun? I'm going to ask you that question. Where do you think this SP gun is going? Remember, we're going to be using it for smoke capability. So, safe spot to be, L2. That's pretty safe. Again, if he moves this tank up there, probably blocked line of sight. Right? If he moves to this location, that's a close line of sight. Would I want to waste that? If you're a good line of sight drawer, but it's going to be bisecting the 3 in that building. It's going to be close. Honestly, I think it's clear, but you never know. He's not going to J2. Why is he not going to J2 to fire on L2? because my half squad here is going to make it to K1. And he's going to protect my armor flank. Simple as that. That's his only purpose. Fire Panzerfaust, point blank range, take the back blast. I don't give a shit. Because if I lose a tank and get a squad broken, wow, ooh, you know, that's quite well worth the target. Again, these units are just going to penetrate forward. Half squad rushed around this guy here. We'll see what happens. I don't know if he's going to fire. Maybe he's going to hold his fire for my leader. Don't know. I've never played Jeff before. So we'll see what happens. Tank is in bypass right here. He's in bypass on that hex on the edge of the board. He's going to squiggle his way through there because I don't want to come down this road. Not doing it. I'm squiggling here. I have 14 movement points. I have plenty of movement points to squiggle in a decent position. All right? That's the idea behind that. And is he going to... This guy's going to be first fired 100 times over by the time this tank gets even near him. Even if I bypass Sleaze Freeze him. He's going to be first fired, subsequent first fire before this tank gets there. There's almost no risk in bypassing this unit, either surpassing that location or entering that location. Zero risk. Or at least I'm not going to consider it a risk. How about that? And again, low firepower, 8 firepower. Look at his firepower. 4, 4, 4, 4, maybe 6. Let's call it 6. Let's call it 6. Remember, we got a couple ATRs here. And let's call it 12. 12 plus 2, still a decent chart for me. 6 plus 2, 6 plus 3. It's going to be hard to affect people in this game. You're going to have to roll super low. So with that, that's how I'm approaching it. Again, I'm leaving 2 tanks off and 2 squads. Another purpose of these guys to do. Why do you think I left these guys off as well? Let's say I smoke this tank, or this tank moves back here, or the tank moves forward over here. And this tank's covering that flank. What am I going to do with these tanks? What am I going to do with these 2 tanks when my opponent moves his tanks into offensive positions or defensive positions? Say he moves them back, or a combination thereof. What am I going to do? If this tank comes off that line, he no longer has line of sight down this row because he's on the hedge. No longer is line of sight. So what am I going to do? My tank is going to fly through here and drop a squad off behind him. It's as simple as that. 14 movement points. You could come on CE. Why? Say, Stu, you're going to risk a whole lot coming on CE. Well, these guys might be gone. These guys are going to be fighting my other units that might be here. And these guys might also be gone. So I'm looking at maybe 1 shot. And guess what? I simply bypass so I don't get adjacent. Bypass here, bypass there. Come behind him. This guy might be first fired, subsequent first fired. I don't care. You know, again, I'm moving. And if he's subsequent first fired, he has penalties on this close combat attack, even if I'm moving past him. So my tank's getting past him. He might have to 4-3 to roll. I'll take a 4-3 to roll to get to a point behind him. Because if I'm over here and this guy breaks, he's doomed. Because I'm in line of sight to that location. I'll drive my tank past him. Maybe both of them. One may get the whole way back here and drop a guy off. And the other one might get here and drop a guy off at this location. Okay, cut him off. Cut this side off. You know? Or if the top moves down, let's say these units move down this way, then I drive them this way. Well, there's a whole bunch of roads over here. I could drive them up into this vicinity, drop a squad off there, and then go get back into the building or cut them off. So that's the idea behind that. It leaves me an opportunity, A, because the field is kind of cluttered to begin with, and B, he doesn't know where my other ones are. Now, he could wax my 2 tanks on the board, but that's the chance you're going to have to take. But I'm not going to give him that opportunity. Again, you're in the middle of a city. He doesn't really need to attack. If he does, then my units are going to swarm his tanks and Panzerfaust the living daylights out of him. All right? So let's go ahead and start this log rolling. I'm just going to show you the progress, and I'm just going to focus on a couple of interesting things you might consider during your game. And this is pretty much just for entertainment purposes right here. But again, I like showing route paths. I'm op firing this unit here down the bottom because this unit's a real unit. If he fires, you know, moving up does nothing. Moving up here does nothing. You know, moving up here is only going to give me a half firepower attack on here. It's not going to be worth anything. So his only true value, I could always advance to N7, right? Take an op fire here, full firepower, and then advance to N7. And the next turn, I can fire on that unit for full firepower. He may or may not be concealed at that point. Okay? So both of these locations are good for this leader and those few squads. So I halfling and bum rush him. Halfling, rather. I didn't actually thought that he'd fire on this half squad. I gotta be honest with you. But he chose to. It's bypassing. It's a -2. And he happens to gack a 9. What do you say? And 4 residual firepower. So I can't really enter his hex at that point. So I'm bypassing the top portion of this hex here. So I don't really want to bypass there and then go here to take another free shot. So I just dip into M9. I'm probably going to get blasted into M9. And might this be a mistake? Probably. Because what's he going to do? He's going to drop more residual firepower there. And residual firepower is king. And again, now I can't go in that open ground location because it's 2 firepower. We were already discussing 1 firepower. And 2 firepower is disastrous. So what do? We pounce into the M10 location here with 4 residual firepower. So we're just running into that location and we're taking residual shots all day long. That guy's bypassing the location. What is the attack when that 137 bypasses that 4 residual firepower hex in M10? What is that firepower attack? Is it 4 -2, 4 even, 4 +2, 4 +1? What is it? It is a 4 +1 shot. Bypassing the building or any terrain in there, you do get the modifier for that terrain. The residual occupies the full hex. It's sort of like area fire. So therefore, you may bypass that location and get the benefit of the building. So that right there is a 4 +1 shot. Not a bad shot, but I'm taking it, and I'm taking it freely. And he does pounce me a couple times. And I do, and he final protective fires. Again, not a bad thing on his part, even if he breaks. Again, he's got a 7 morale, and it leaves more residual firepower. Right? Now he's got that unit surrounded with residual firepower. Not a bad thing. Not really a bad thing. I'm going to move down here. Not really a bad thing. You know? That's excellent. I mean, he's pretty much pinned off this whole unit over here. Me? I don't give a shit. I'm going into that 4 residual location. And again, the half squad here is to simply cut his route path. And again, he won't be able to, I guess I could go there. Yeah, he might be able to. So he's broken. And my other units up here just bypassing along all those hexes. And he's doing whatever. What the hell are he doing? So he fires at him with my giant stack. Or maybe he just simply reveals. So I lose concealment. So again, stacks of units. I make sure, knowing lines of sight, I don't want to expose myself to too much fire. The tank pulls up down here. Takes some residual attacks. Of course, he fails his morale check, that guy with a light machine gun. And the other unit goes in there as well. He's fine. Leader assault moves up. Fodor's just ready to rally units. We have a broken half squad here. Remember, Scenario Special Rule 2. That unit has a 7 morale on his recovery. This unit is an 8 morale unit. They will rally quite easily. Okay? These units go up here. My tank, look where my tank is. Going along those roads, and now he's going to bypass right there, right in front of this unit. Of course, he takes a shot, or I take a shot for area target type. I stop. He's in bypass of, I believe he's in bypass of K4. And so I park him in that bypass, put the pressure on, and see what's going on with that. So down here, oops, we have he can't route away, because that's why, again, you move your tank last. Now he can't move adjacent to an enemy unit. I have to route first, and so my unit just chooses not to route. Actually, let's go back. Let's go take a look at that. Okay. This tank doesn't need to be here. If this unit remained here as a DM unit, again, guys, when you have broken units, you have to know what you can do with your units, especially in this game. This game is hard enough as it is. You don't want to be moving backwards all the time, and that's going to be the theme of this game. Do not move backwards. So I moved my tank here simply because I didn't really have a lot of units. If I moved the tank up here, he could actually counterattack and try to take out my tank. Again, he can assault move and advance phase with concealed with the tank. You're gone. You're just gone. So it needs to stay there. I'm in no rush to get it up to the front. But the tank does not need to be here. Okay? It doesn't need to be here for this purposes. I've got a unit behind him. I got a unit in front of him. Now I need to route first. Am I required to route any of my broken units down here at the bottom? Am I required to route these units? I'm adjacent to an enemy unit. Am I required to route? And if I am, where would my destination or destinations be? Well, let's cut to the chase. I am not required to route because this is a non-good order unit. He's broken. I could sit there in the open. And guess what? I think that's where I just stay. This unit here can also stay there. Why not? I've got the leader there. He's not going to lose concealment by trying to rally. He's 8 morale in the next turn. This unit is surrounded. He can't go to L8, K9, or L10. Therefore, he's not failure to route. He's adjacent to an enemy unit, unable to route away. And therefore, he surrenders. So that's what I'm looking for right now, is getting rid of his units by making them surrender. So when he surrenders, I get to also deploy my units as well. Or at least deploy his prisoner unit to, I'm not sure why the op fire is still on there. Deploy that prisoner unit. I think I should be gone. So taking with that into consideration, look at where these units are here. If these units break, if this unit breaks and you have units next to them, say K8 and J8, I'm probably going to be in those locations in J8 and K8. I'm probably going to be in K6. I'm probably going to have some guys over here. So for all intents and purposes, I've got every hex behind these units covered in terms of route paths. Now, mind you, this is the tank. He could route through the tank across the street. But again, if you pressure the tank will move, isolating this unit. When these units are isolated like that and they break, they will surrender to you. You will take them as prisoners. In this game, you will take them as prisoners. And if you want, actually, it's very interesting. This is a question that came up. And I'm going to address this question. I'm glad I kind of remembered it. So these guys will drop into prisoner mode as soon as they break, because you're going to have units adjacent, because the firepower is so low, you're not going to be able to do anything other than being adjacent. So I've got a unit way up here. Why have a guy up here? He's extremely vulnerable. If he wanted to, he could assault move to I-10 and simply advance phase into J9, kill that unit in close combat, because he'll probably have ambush on him, because I'm CX and he's not. He's concealed. That's a 3 difference. And my unit especially if he's a 4-to-1. That's going to be a 4-to-1 with an ambush -2. That will simply be an 11 for a casualty reduction. He will ambush me and not lose concealment. This unit, pretty much for all intents and purposes, should be dead. Okay? But I wanted to see if he's willing to do that. Why? Because my units are going to be coming up and pressuring this guy, not giving him a good route path to go away when he breaks. Again, I have more units than the Russians. If I whittle the Russians' power down, I simply win by default. The Russians need to conserve their forces. And a couple malfunctions here, a couple concealment gains, first fires. I do end up breaking his stack, his LMG stack and squad there. So, and his leader. But you might think to yourself, hey, Stu, that's a lucky shot, man. You rolled a 3. Your freaking dice are so good. Man, that's bullshit. I'm just going to, the hell with this. You're rolling too well. That doesn't do jack shit for me. To be honest with you, I shouldn't have even fired on him. Because that's probably going to, it's going to more likely malfunction my support weapon than cause this to happen. Why? He's going to route back in my turn. He's going to lose his DM. He probably will not rally in my turn. And then when his turn comes along, simply because I can't get any fire upon that unit back there in E4, he's going to rally and reoccupy that position like nothing happened. And that's exactly what you're going to see. So therefore, when you break a unit like this, don't think that, you know, you did everything great. He still have 2 tanks and other units guarding that position. He loses nothing for this unit to break, other than concealment. That's the only thing he lost. All right, he's got a couple to hits going. I got some first fires. Maybe that's my to hit. He still has concealment there. Again, routes back. No big deal. I think he killed this unit up here somehow. No, he didn't. I'm not sure what happened to the unit. Anyway, you can look through the log. I think I uploaded to an ASL scenario archive. We got a lot of red dots going here. So this unit's gone. Let's get deleted. I'm not sure why it's screwed up. That unit's gone. That should be a full squad. There's a squad missing down here somewhere. That's wonderful. Great log. And now he's gone. Wow. Seriously? All right, let me restart. Hold on. All right, here. Backtracking just a little bit. Here's where the other squad went. Not sure why it got deleted. Whatever. So anyway, and there's my half squad up here. I think he was erroneously removed as well. He's concealed. He's not going to take a shot at that unit with his tank. It's a +5 to hit. He needs a 3 to hit. I wouldn't waste my time with that unit. But he fires his big boy. Again, what does this do for me? It causes this unit to lose concealment. I present him with a worthless target, and it causes this unit to lose concealment. And for all intents and purposes, I'm probably going to have guys here the rest of the game. And therefore, he will be unable to retain concealment or gain concealment later on. He has an ATR, HMG, tons of firepower. You know, he's the stack. And so he vaporizes him with the snake eyes. That's where he went. I rolled 6 for the gun, but a snake eyes is snake eyes. No worth crying about that. And that's just the way it rolls. Again, here's my position here. Remember, I said I'd just advance up there and take a shot on this guy. That's exactly what I did. What happened? Roll an 11. Shit happens. He rolls a snake eyes, roll 11. And VASL's got to bounce out, baby. You got to be aware of that. So we got other units first firing. That's where I broke him here. He routes back. I've got my other units down here with my prisoners. Again, split them up into half squads. Should I do that? Whatever. I just want to split them up for the hell of it. Just in case they came back, then they'd only be half squads instead of full squads. A full squad Russian is 4 firepower. This way, there are only 2. So we got the red dots of bouncing death. I prep fire. Should I prep fire here? Where am I going? I'm not advancing to J4. I don't have my smoke making capabilities up yet. He's here. He's here. I'm not going anywhere. And these guys are still in the way, right? We still have units. I don't want to be flanked. I can't move here because if I break, I immediately get surrendered. Because this unit will either take the surrender or kill them, right? So J4 is not a spot to move. I'm not moving to K5 because Nemeth is going to come up there. That's his job. That's Nemeth's job, is to come up through here and engage targets of opportunity. We have enough firepower on this side. Maybe I'll blast him. If I blast him, he routes away. Then we continue. Simple as that. Again, move here. Unit fires. Now we can move units up. First fired, what happens? He rolls a snake eyes. Nice shot. Nothing's wrong with him rolling snake eyes. What happens? Morale check 12. His crew is gone. His half squad is gone. He's killing his own dudes. Again, that's the other thing you have going for you. If you take his prisoners, if you declare no quarter, every one of his units will run away from you. All the time, low crawl, just like starter kit. They're running away. If you take these units and you capture them, yeah, if I break, he could possibly pass a 6 task check, engage me in close combat, bitch slap me around a little bit. He's at 1 to 3, right? And I will simply withdraw from close combat. 1 to 3 is a 3 for a kill. Whatever. Hopefully I can get a guy into close combat at the same time. Not really worried about that situation. Because when we get into a situation like this where I move adjacent to the enemy, he fires upon me because he kind of has to, right? Because I can just drop the prisoners off in advanced phase and then jump into close combat. I believe I can do that. And then abandon the prisoners and jump in close combat, then, so be it. I'm on top of you. But since he fires on me, he's killing his own guys. He's killing his own guys. Now, I should happen to get a decent roll on that to pass the morale check. Again, I'm running into that location there, taking a 2+2 residual, and I'm CE. Notice I'm CE. Why am I CE? Because I don't want to expend 4,000 movement points in this little village. I want 1 point per hex side. If he wants to shoot at me right here, what's his maximum firepower? What's his maximum firepower he's going to have on this tank? And is he going to fire both units? Is he going to reveal both units to fire on that tank? I don't know. I've never played my opponent before. Never played the Howler. So this could be an ATR. This could be an LMG. Let's say it's an LMG. Doesn't matter because it's a squad. That's going to be 8 firepower. That's going to be 6 plus 4 is 10. 8 firepower. Whether it's if it's an ATR, it's not going to scratch me. I've got 6 armor in the front. 8 if he hits the superstructure. Don't give a shit if there's an ATR there. All right? So 8 firepower plus 2. I'll take it. You know why? Because he's not firing at my infantry. If he gets stunned, if he 8 firepower plus 2, let's roll 1 morale check. Okay, boom. Roll my dice. If I roll a pin, my guys button up. What happens? He loses concealment from 2 attacks, 2 stacks, and I simply get pinned. Most of the time I'll just get pinned, or if not affected, and simply button up my tank. My tank's not going to hit anything. I'm moving. The C is not to hit these guys in the advanced fire phase. He's concealed in stone buildings, and I'm moving. SP gun. Good luck calculating those modifiers. It's not going to happen. There's 0 threat from this tank at this location. 0 threat. But if I bait the shot, I'm well protected. +2. I'm willing to take that risk for him to lose concealment so my guys can roll up on him and he can't regain concealment. Okay? That's the whole point. Problem with this position. What is this problem, gentlemen and ladies? Yeah. I noticed it after I moved there. I'm probably in line of sight to that tank there. Most likely in line of sight. So you'll see what happens after this. And I think I continue moving. I'm not sure. Yeah, I continue moving. Because I said I can't stop there. I simply cannot stop there. Why? Because he's going to turn his turret for +1. He's going to be buttoned up for +1. Actually, he's going to turn his turret in the defensive fire phase. He's not going to hit me. And then in the prep fire phase, he's going to have an acquisition, and I'm a small target. He's going to need a 10 to hit me. What is my armor? 6 or a 2, depending on the whether I continue to bypass. My tank is going to be destroyed if I park him in this location. I screwed up, so I can't park him there. I have to keep moving. At least I have a +1 if he changes his turret covered arc right here. So, again, being CE, let's bait some shots. He does pivot his tank. He rolls a 3. I think he misses by 1. He misses by 1 because of the pivot. Now, if that was a turret change, then he would have hit me. Okay? Pivot change +2 more. So it's +3, +4 for buttoned up, +5 for my size, 6, 7 for moving, and +3, +1 more for 3 MP or less in line of sight. Okay? I think it's 3. 1, 2, yeah, because I pivoted. So he missed by 1 for all intents and purposes. At least that's what we calculated. So I got to keep moving. Now he's acquired me. I'm still screwed. I'm still screwed at this location. If I move again, he's going to intensive fire. And he's got an acquisition. What's he going to... If I move into I8, what's he need to hit me? What's he need to hit me? I8. Fire the tank. Boom! 10. Base 10. Right? We're within 6 X's. Everyone needs 10. Everyone needs 8. Everyone needs 7. 10 to hit. I've expended, well, this will be another half point. So 1 there, 2, 1.5, 2.5, 3. That'll be 3. Still +1 for 3 MPs or less in line of sight. +1 for that. That's going to be case, whatever it is. Defensive fire case J2. Yep, J2. Right here. Nope, J1. 3 MP and fires LOS. +1. Plus he's moving. So we got 3 for moving. Right? 4 for size. And he's got a -1 acquisition on me. So it's a 3. He needs a 7 to hit me. I'm not giving him a 7. That's bullshit. I might as well have stayed in J8 and make him guess on that line of sight. I'm not giving him a 7 to hit me in I8. One place to go. Bypassing. This accomplishes 2 things. Unfortunately, I moved most of my guys. Well, that's fine. That's the only spot that I can go. He then either fires on me, and I remain in motion there. He fires to hit me, but he misses on it to kill with his ATR. I get super lucky with this tank, to be honest with you. He should have been killed. He's had a couple opportunities to kill me. He missed with the ATR. Flank shot, 2. That's killable. And in same hex. To kill at that range is +2. Right? He shoots me with his infantry. I roll snake eyes for morale check. He gets a sniper. Comes over here. And guess what? Sniper comes over here and stuns the damn tank. So he pops him. Stuns him. And I said, oh shit. Now he's going to be gone. Now he's just simply gone. But if I had more units to move, I could then make a move with that unit. His tank is now facing away from some of my units. For most of them. My other tank plows into the building right here. My other guy takes a morale check. He bites the dust. Don't give a shit. Why? We have Barda right here. A 137 is not going to make a difference up here. I'm not going to expend the movement points there. Just blow into that building. If he succeeds, the unit gets to be placed in. I think he was bypassing this hex. Yes, he was. That's why the DM is there. He breaks there. He's going to route back to here and be rallied by the Hungarians next turn. Not a problem. Plows into here. It does 2 things. I think they overran him or something like that. And so he loses concealment. And then I get a unit here. Again, I want to jump him here. And that way I can jump him with a shitload of guys in close combat. He might get first shot, but I'm going to kill him. And what do we do? If I lose my tank, so be it. But I have 1 squad, 3 squads. That's going to be a 2-to-1 against him in close combat. All right? I want to kill the unit. Why do I want to kill the unit? The fewer units that he has, the better off I'll be. Take a look at my position down here. This unit, what I talk about this unit, if this unit breaks, he will surrender. If this unit breaks, he will surrender. I'm going to kill this unit. I've already captured 1 squad. He is now faced with losing 3 more squads right now. I could legit eliminate 40% of his force by putting the pressure on and jumping on him. Why can we put the pressure on? Why can I jam my units in his face? Scenario special rule number 2. That is the reason why I can jam in his face. I'm using scenario special rule number 2. Would I be doing this in a normal scenario? Maybe as well. But guess what? You're not going to be rallying him as fast. You're just not going to be rallying them as fast. But I will be rallying these units as fast. So continue on. He first fires main armament. I think he misses. And again, the other benefit of me moving into the J3, what does this tank need to hit me? I'm moving. I expended half my MP, so that's out the door. So +2 for moving, +1 for size. Again, I love being small. Small targets in buildings, especially stone buildings, is a +4 to hit. Right? This unit is buttoned up. That makes it +5. He needs a 5 to hit me if I remain in motion. I think I stopped. So he would need a 6 to hit me. I'm willing to take a 6. I mean, if he rolls a 6, he rolls a 6. Now when he fires upon me, he'll need a 7, I believe, to hit me. +3, yeah. No, he'll need a 6 to hit me because it'll be +3 building, +1 size. The -1 acquisition will cancel out his buttoned up. So he needs a 5 to hit me now and a 6 to hit me next prep fire phase. I'm willing to take that. Why? Why am I willing to take this shot? A, my units are going to jump into close combat here and hopefully kill that unit. If that's the case, and the tank fires on and destroys the gun, my gun, in his prep fire phase, he's not shooting the infantry. And then these guys here could also fire on them. That's going to be a 12 + 2. That's fine. A 12 + 2 is what it is, right? But at least his tank can't fire on my guys at point blank on infantry and blow my infantry out of the water. So he has to choose. If he fails that shot, what am I going to do? I am going to smoke likely I3 or I4 or one of these hexes. You know, most likely it'll be I4. Why I4? Because then these units can then move across the street. If this unit gets eliminated, these units can then possibly move across the street or possibly move this direction if we had a smoke there. Let's get a smoke counter. We had a smoke counter right here. Right? First of all, I'm going to fire one defensive fire phase. So that one will probably go right there. Prep fire phase, the other smoke's going right there. Right? That's what it's going to look like at my prep fire phase. Actually, this smoke might be dispersed. I think this one might be gone. But anyway, and then these units here, if these units is gone, excuse me, because I have a unit over here firing. If that unit's broken, these units can, hell, they can just assault move here and then take some Panzerfaust shots on the side. Or sprint over to H4, take a Panzerfaust shot on the side over here. Okay? I'm putting the pressure on. When that pressure comes on, this pressure might be able to be put on down here. This unit can't fire everywhere. Can't fire everywhere. So that was the idea of throwing that tank into that building. Let's blow by here. What happens? He breaks. We get another prisoner. He loses yet another squad. 2 squads gone. My guy's jumping in close combat. I think one guy moves up. One guy moves up here. One. I put him here. Say, Stu, why do you put that guy there? Draw fire. I really don't want 3 squads here. Because then if he shoots in there, all he has to do is shoot in 2 units. This unit's going to rally in the back. They'll break and he comes and surrounds them and I die. So it makes him fire another unit here. Puts bait out in the street. Plus it spreads my units out a little bit. Should I put him in the middle? The choice is yours. But we got lots of close combats around. Close combat down here. He rolls a 10. He needs a 9 for the mobilization right here. I get lucky. That turns into a melee. Right here, I think he eliminates my unit. I'm counter exhausted. Even though he's pinned, half firepower. You roll well enough, it doesn't matter. He rolls a 4. More power to him. And nothing happens up there. We're in melee, except the tank. The tank now can only fire within zonal hex. Unfortunately. Actually, he killed a guy there. So we get a pin. He fires his tank, blows up the my vehicle. But hey, that's the way we go. Again, we have 2 other vehicles to work on. I try to fire, malfunction, and then right here, you see all this stuff right here? All these die rolls? Those are Panzerfaust checks. So what happens? I get 2 shots off. I get a 10 and an 8, and I miss both times. So out of all these units here, I think all these units go for Panzerfausts. And I think I rolled 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 times, and I actually got 2 Panzerfaust shots off, as you denote over here on the left-hand side. So he says, oh shit, he has Panzerfaust, I need to back up. Okay. What did we discuss pregame? Now our tanks can come down here with impunity because he cannot reoccupy I-6. I-6 is a no-fly zone. Okay? Because Panzerfaust is going to be flying. I've got I-6 pegged. This is a no-fly zone. So my tanks are coming down here. And then we're looking to drop some smoke over on this side. Okay, smoking this guy here. We're going to smoke this guy. Or just drop a general smoke in here so we can assault move advance phase in close combat. Okay, the tank no longer has line of sight past J6. That's the whole purpose. Fire as many Panzerfaust, put the fear of God in him. And he backs up. Smart to back up. He doesn't need to kill anybody right there. And the other thing about his tank backing up, what happens to this unit when he breaks now? Well, he couldn't do it before because my tank was down here, but I presume the tank's going to be eliminated. Now he can't route because he'll be interdicted. Actually, he'd have to... I think these guys can interdict him right there. That's close. But this is likely an interdictable location if your unit breaks. Again, that will be the 3rd unit loss to surrender. Okay, I'm back this guy up here. This guy breaks right here. Okay, route phase. Where are you going to route this unit? You're going to route him back here so he doesn't get shot. You're going to route him back here. Route him back here so he doesn't get shot. I don't give a shit. What am I going to do? I'm going to route him up here. Why? If he wants to fire upon me with a single unit, 4+1, unlikely going to do anything. If he DMs me, guess what? He's not firing at other locations. This is a key hex right here. I'm taking lots of losses. I actually got a crew to jump out of here. So I lost a guy here. I think he rolled low. And a guy here lost in close combat. I'm still 1-1 because I got my crew jumping out. This unit up here, if he fires the HMG on this unit, what happens to the HMG? His covered arc is fixed. His covered arc would have to be fixed going that way, and he can't fire any subsequent rate of fires any other direction. If he fires over here, he can't fire my broken unit. because of his covert arc. My DM is gone. What is my morale? My morale is a 7. I will self-rally that unit at the beginning of the Hungarian turn. When I get a 7 and rally that unit, I'm dashing across the road. He'll likely have to fire upon me. If he fires upon this guy, he's not firing upon my other units. If he breaks here, where is he going? If this unit, clone him, dashes here, he breaks him in that location with whatever he fires upon him with. Where's this unit routing? 2, 4, 6. We're routing to the victory location. If he does not react to this unit by drawing units back, which he might do it anyway, I'm going to lose my DM status and need a 7 to rally. Yes, he's only a half squad. Actually, he's a full squad. He looks like a full squad. No, he's got to be a half squad. If this unit rallies... Oh, he lost... Yeah, he's a full squad. Hell, that's good. I don't think he is. Yeah, he's a full squad. He was the unit that was in J2. So he routed this way. He broke an ELR failure. He's going to advance into here. Why? We're going to Panzerfaust the ass of that tank. We're going to Panzerfaust this location if these guys are moving here. We don't need to fire anything. We Panzerfaust. All right? So with a break and a route from J2 up to here versus back here, I could have routed to my leader back there. It serves no purpose. I'm in the back. I got plenty of guys in that vicinity. Right? I got 2 squads here, squad and a half there, squad there, going to be out the rally, or half squad. I'm fine. Right? If I route up to here, it gives me an opportunity in the game to try to get behind them later on. Remember, we need squads in here. And him just sitting the HMG shooting down here is not going to get the game done. I need to distract him. Anytime I draw fire, again, if he breaks again, he simply routes forward. Hopefully he won't ELR. And then the turn after that, we could probably Panzerfaust somebody. Okay, we'll do some more. And I think, well, again, 8-1's back in the location. We got another guy killing. This guy's really good in close combat. J3, man, he's really carrying. He's killed a couple of units. So prep fire. Prep fire. We just want to break some more units. Now, notice this guy here. Notice what this guy just broke. Okay? Keep him in mind. I said, okay, breaking that guy. I'm not going to get anything done. We got a melee in J3. We got some tanks going here. I got a unit moving up here. He's double timing. This guy cowers and final fires. So we keep moving. He fires again. Rolls a 10. What happens? He should roll 10. Looks like an IFT. Anyway, my guy breaks. Yeah, this is it. My guy breaks right here. So, Stu, what are you doing? That guy's dead. Well, we'll take a look at it. Now the other reinforcements come on because he's moved his tank back up. I'm moving point blank. He first fires on that unit. I've got a bail, but I roll snake eyes. On the bail, he ELRs to a 447. Pretty badass. Sniper comes up here. Unfortunately, the sniper kills my leader. That's part of the game, people. I roll the snake eyes. He gets a 1. My leader dies. And that whole stack disintegrates. That, for all intents and purposes, this is a giant part of the game. But we continue. The other tank does exactly the same thing. Moves up here. Keeps moving. Again, we're CE. This guy's in melee. He can't even fire on us. These are 2 residual firepower shots. This unit fired upon my 447 right here. And he caused him to... actually, I dropped him off, I think. And so, therefore, when my other tank comes up through here to this location, he cannot fire on him, and he can't fire on him. And this unit can't fire on him either because he's final fired. Okay? So, and I'm just rolling right by him, taking those 2+2 shots which are essentially ineffective, and that's what they turn into. Ineffective shots. The unit runs up here. 7-0's got nothing else to do. He's going to rally that unit. Hopefully. Okay. Somehow we get a break on this unit. We break this unit. Okay, let's see. Let me advance a little bit. I think the residual... Got more shots. Go off. Again, I want to focus on the routing in this game. Although with some other bullshit that I'm talking about. I don't want to miss it. A couple morale checks. Don't really care about the morale checks. Again, I get super lucky on the melee on this tank here. I must admit that. You know, he got lucky with the sniper over here. This tank in this melee should have been destroyed. So that's what you need to keep in mind when you're playing your game. I got fortunate over here. Even though this tank, excuse me, even though this tank's stunned, and he should be stunned. He should be buttoned up. But he caused these guys to be in melee, which took their firepower away, right? He should have destroyed me in the first close combat. And so, therefore, essentially it's a free tank, and I've got free mobility here. You know, I'm avoiding a shot here. I lost a leader and a couple squads broke. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But guess what? We got a leader here. That's why you spread your leaders out. You don't pile them on in one spot. This leader can easily get the location here and rally those units. Is he moving forward? Unlikely. These units are going to rally. Why? Hungarian multi-morale counter is too higher than printed. They're coming back in the next Hungarian rally phase. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, people. So, route phase. Let me see. This is a big-ass mess down here. Unfortunately, this guy's pinned. So, let's look for the route phase. He has to route because he's next to an enemy, a good order or a enemy unit. An unbroken enemy unit. Not good order, just unbroken. So, therefore, that unit has to route. The pin stays back there. These guys are routing, so these guys route down here. This might be a mistake. We take some interdiction as well. But again, do I care with the interdiction? Now I've got 1, 2, 3 units in one location. This leader, instead of going up here, this guy being broken back here, now he could try to rally all 3 of them. What is the morale of these units coming across to K7? What's their morale level? 8. Again. 2 higher. Their morale is 8. I need to roll an 8 or less not to be killed. Unfortunately, I rolled a 9 on one guy and he took a casualty. He was step reduced, I believe. Yeah, step reduced. Not step reduced, but he took a casualty. So what? They're all still in the same spot. Most of the guys survived. I don't have a problem with that. Not a problem. That's just part of the game. I took a chance. I'm not going to low crawl to K7, right? These guys I know have to come back here. I want to consolidate my units into one area so my leader can get on them. Okay. This unit. Look at this guy. Stu, what the hell are you doing? That's a bullshit route. That is a bullshit route, Stu. I'm an H7. Can I route to G7? Is that a legal route? There's an enemy unit right here. I'm moving adjacent to the enemy unit. That's bullshit, Stu. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You're lost. You're whacked out. Got a row house. That unit is not in line of sight to this unit. I am not adjacent, capital adjacent, to the unit in H6. And neither is he to me. So I do not need to route from that unit. Okay? If I did not route that direction, well, first of all, that's about the only way I can route. Because I can't go here. Because I'm now in line of sight to that unit. So that is my only route. And guess what? I already knew that going into it. Okay? Moving into H7, I knew if I broke, I still knew I could route this direction. Did I know he was going to break? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But guess what? I route here. Now what happens? I'm done routing. I'm happy. My guys are happy. Now it's the Russians' turn to rout. Does this unit need to rout? This unit is adjacent to an enemy unit. An unbroken enemy unit. Doesn't have to be good order. Unbroken enemy unit. Where's this unit going to rout? Nowhere. Can't route to G7 because he's getting closer to this unit. That was done intentionally. Can't get closer. Can't go to G6. If I stopped in G7, if my broken unit stopped in G7, then you just gave this unit a way to get the hell out of Dodge. He just went to G6 for 2. He can go here 3, 4, 5. He just got out of there. And guess where this unit's going to go? 2, 4. Now he has 2 units in one location. Right here, closer to the objective. So what happens when I go here? Is this unit a combat ready unit? No. I don't care if he's a combat ready unit. What this unit does is eliminate this unit. This broken unit just caused this unit to surrender because he can't go to H5 because he'll get interdicted. And he'll be getting closer to the melee over here. Pass him through. Now I can see him. Now you can't route. Bye-bye. All right, this guy here. He's routing this guy here first. That is a possible destination. Can he go to F4? Remember how he routed last time? Boom, boom, boom. Rally back up. Move back up to the front. Can he do that now? Can he do the same maneuver? He tries. He tries because that's exactly what he did last time. Why can't he do that? Because I have a broken unit right here. Once he enters G4, he sees F6. He might actually have line of sight to F6 from the beginning, but I know he's got line of sight from G4. F4 is 2 hexes away. This is 3 hexes away. He may not go into F4. So therefore, he stops into G4. What does that do for me? That causes his broken units to remain closer to the front, more vulnerable to my units. Now, can I get anybody there? He has 2 tanks. 2 T-34-85s. That's a pretty damn safe spot right there. But the point is he can't get further back to get back to the location. He's now 2 further hexes closer. Okay? I stopped him from routing any further back. I possibly might be able to bring some guys up to DM him. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. He might not be able to rally him. And then I might be able to make that guy surrender. Okay? Now this unit here, and we're talking about how he can't route. This unit just simply surrenders to the unit adjacent to him. And he deploys. He deploys. Boom, boom, boom. They'd all deploy, and then I advance in. All these guys advance. Melee. We're still going on. Hot and heated. I think he misses again. Oh, what the hell's going on over here? I'm not sure what's going on over here. Oh, I got it. My 447 jumped him in close combat. Here. Why did I move my 447 into the 80 location versus this location? Stu, you're stupid. What the hell are you doing? I've got a tank there. I've got a whatever here. This, that, and the other. You know, he's going to fire first. I don't really care, right? I don't really care. He still has a high roll to try and destroy my unit, right? He still can try to destroy my tank. Not a problem. But let's say he destroys my tank. I am anticipating him destroying my tank. So I jump my 447 to this location versus this location because I don't give a shit about this guy. I want to kill his leader. And the other thing is, he's got an ATR pointed at my ass. So when he destroys the tank, he is then not going to be able to fire anywhere in his upcoming prep fire phase. If I did not move into here and I moved into here instead, he has a high probability of destroying this tank. Therefore, he will have prep fire opportunities adjacent to my unit here with an 8 firepower. Even, right? Because I got pinned, I'm screwed. And then he could he could fire on that unit. And that guy might break and he's going to have to bail and then die and then run away. Now I pin down his leader and nullify his anti-tank rifle. Do I care about this guy? Can this guy come over here and jump him into close combat? Absolutely. But he's not going to kill him with an ass shot. That's a kill of 6. I think it's 1 hex. What's the to kill 1 hex with the ATR? I think it's 2. Still 2. 2 kill table. 25 millimeters plus 2. He has an 8 to kill. I have 2 armor. It means he has a 6 for an effect. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. So we pin that and we remove that capability from my opponent. Okay. No ATR for you. Right? You bust him down. No routing for you. No ATR for you. I don't want him at all. And again, this guy's kind of surrounded. I could possibly kill 2 more units. How many units does he have if these units get annihilated? I really don't have a lot of units down there, but I have some tanks. He's going to have to take some moves in the open. These guys are gone. He has 3 squads left in the game. This guy's in close combat. He has 3 squads. I'm going to rally 3, but I'm going to rally 3 squads back here. And we're just going to run to the end. So right now, I'm looking pretty. Close combat. I finally killed that guy. Unfortunately, I needed my leader in there. I don't really want my leader here, simply because we got a big boy across the street. It's going to say, time to die. And we gain concealments. It's kind of pointless. And he still didn't kill my tank there. We just continue on. He moves. He rallies. He actually rallies this unit. Absolutely great. Can't bitch about that. He simply rallied a unit. Nothing's wrong with rolling a 5 or a 4 in a rally. So he rallied him, moved around into position. That was fortuitous. And he's moving some units back. He's CXing this guy. This guy starts up. What do you see on the right-hand side over here? Miss. Oop, we got a Panzerfaust. Oop, we got a Panzerfaust. No Panzerfaust. Fire, miss. Oh, those are actually those are brown checks. I think. Oh no, it was a. That was a backblast roll. But I blew up his tank. So one of these guys, Panzerfaust. I backblast. It killed one of the prisoner units. Again, promoting my victory conditions of eliminating more units than my enemy. My Panzerfaust shot killed an enemy unit, and I wasn't even shooting at him. And I smoked his tank. Both my units broke. Don't care. Even if these units die, doesn't matter. I took out a tank from the cost of 1 squad. And he lost another half squad. So he lost a tank and a half. That blazes. What does this blaze do? Gives me cover. Now I can move units up through here. Maybe flank this guy and get cover. I've got smoke. This unit can now not fire down this way. Beneficial. This tank does some firing. He prep fires. This guy gets DM'd. He just fires on me. Advanced fires, right? All right. I think I tried some prep fire shots with right here. A couple Panzerfausts. They missed. This guy in the open. What happened to this guy in the open? He took shots because he was in the open. Again, he's in the open. Why? 2 hexes range. Take the risk for the Panzerfaust shot. He does no good 3 hexes away. DM units route back. At least one guy did. I mouthed my gun trying to shoot smoke. Didn't work. Melee's continuing going on. And unfortunately, what happens here? His half squad passes a task check and kills one of my units, rearms himself to a 226. This is not fun behind my lines, especially when I have broken units right here. This is not a good thing to happen in the game. So, that was very interesting. Again, haven't seen that very often, but that's the risk you take. Again, big deal. He passed the task check. All my guys happen to be broken. And my guys just essentially withdrew from close combat. And I think they may have been close combat before. I think I rolled 12. Yeah, I rolled 12, killed one of my own guys. These melees have been going on for a while. And I Panzerfaust the other vehicle as well with my 9-1 leader and my remaining half squad. Panzerfaust that with a -1 to hit, take the back blast. Again, there's only one unit there. I'm not going to take the back blast in a stack of 12 units. Blaze the other tank. And we don't necessarily need the smoke. The blazes weren't enough. So both tanks go up essentially in one game turn. Now my tanks can freely move. I didn't expect both of his tanks to blow up. So at this point, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with my tanks now? Because they don't have any machine guns. I probably overcompensate my tanks. He first fires on these guys. I think I bypass him or something like that. I do something stupid. Essentially, I just misplay my tanks from here on out. This guy mouthed. I think he just sticks in his location. Just to sleaze freeze him. That's garbage. But my other guys are moving up, trying to do what they can. He unloads. Tank moves behind. Gets into a motion position. I really don't leave him in motion. Not a big fan of that. I essentially ignore everyone behind me and just go for the gusto. This is another key decision. There are two things that happen in the game that caused the game to be as it is. A sniper here, killing the leader and breaking 2 units, which causes a loss of a casualty here, which then causes this unit to attack in close combat. So these guys are in a big world of hurt down here. And this guy's a 4-1. So he's going to be eliminated. This guy's broken. There's not much there, right? I have 2 squads in the back. I want to get into F1, and the only way I get there is by counter-exhausting. And so my concept was, even though I'm counter-exhausted, I'll still have 16 firepower plus 4 if he assault moves here. Not a bad shot. But if I don't get an effect, then I'm going to be in a world of hurt because he's just going to jump me in close combat with a -1 modifier. So it's looking good everywhere else. I've got tanks. I've got units. You know, I think we're the same number of squads, but I've got three tanks and 1 mouthed that could possibly get on him. This unit, we thought, again, maybe I should have kept this unit stopped. I should have stopped this unit. Why? Because this unit is not in melee. This unit is only in close combat. That unit can now freely move from that location. You can only roll melee with a stopped vehicle. So we change it to a CC. It makes all the difference in the game because he simply moves back. These guys are just maneuvering back. The 8-0 is coming across the street because he killed me. He goes here. I roll like 8 for my shot. No effect. And so he advance fires. He jumps my guys in close combat. And then kills this guy here. Oh, no. He rolls a 12 here. And I retreat forward. Why do I retreat forward instead of sideways? Because I can take this unit here and then move to F4. And this unit can't fire on him because of the row house. So I can go 2. I could be 2, 4, you know, and then be over here. And then start to cover the road or something like that. Anyway, it's a safe maneuver. Unfortunately, he jumps me into close combat over here. And then rolls a snake eyes for my unit. I don't even get an attack back to hopefully reduce one of his units. And that's where the game ends. Because at this point, my tanks can't occupy the building, and I have no multi-man counters in the back. Squad equivalents. These guys have a half squad. These guys are... Could I rally them? Let's see, what turn is this? That's turn 4. It's possible. It's possible I could have rallied these units here. But I'd have to cross a 447 in the open, and his big boys in the back would be in the building. And he had these guys down here. So he had 1, 2, 3, 4 squads down here and 2 here, 6. I don't even think I had 6 squads. So at that point, we just call it. Barter will die, and but that was it. So fun game. Jeff's a fun opponent. Again, he knows his stuff. He kind of run around, performed his moves quickly. Unlike me, I probably overthink things too much. But yeah. So it's exciting. It was an exciting game. He didn't just troll back to the building in the back. And again, I wrote a comment that might be considered a factory back there, but factories are only by scenario special rule. Even if you have this road going into the building, not a factory unless it's an SSR. Now, the vehicles, without the scenario special rule in this game, could enter that building at the road rate, because that's a road. And the other question that came up, I believe, when we start playing this game is the victory conditions identify having more unbroken squad equivalents in the building than your opposing player. So, the question that came up is, this unit moves into the building. Let's say he had 2 squads. Okay? These are Russian units. Those are enemy units. Those are Russian units. They are unarmed, but the victory conditions do not say armed squad equivalents. These are squad equivalents. That is a full squad equivalent. This is a full squad equivalent. They are enemy units. Those are enemy Russians. Would they satisfy the victory conditions for this scenario? That's the question you need to ask yourself. You know, did they play test this one by capturing units, or was it all no quarter? Because I just want to kill you. I don't want to be burdened by prisoners. So that was a potential. We had to discuss that. If I bring my squads with prisoners into that building at the end of the game, do I have to drop them outside? And guess what? If I drop them outside, say the turn before, again, he doesn't have a turn 6. If I drop them out before, can he simply just move them in there? Because now they're his units. Now they're simply unarmed units. So they will definitely count, because these are squad equivalents at the end game if he has control of them. But if I have control of them, right? Because these are unbroken units. Prisoners do not break. They casualty reduce. So do they qualify? They certainly qualify if I'm not guarding them. Does not say armed squad equivalents. Right? So, doesn't say good order. It just simply says unbroken. I don't even think prisoners are good. I think prisoners might be considered good order. Let's go check the rule. Electronic rulebook. If you don't have one, go get one. If you play VASL, get the rulebook. It's so much more efficient than looking it up by hand. Good order. Personnel unit. Prisoners a personnel unit. Or vehicular inherent crew, which is neither broken, berserk, captured, stunned, shocked, or held in melee. If this unit is not captured, therefore he's a regular unit, he should be good order. He's not broken, he's not berserk, he's not captured, because he's just an unarmed unit now. He's not a prisoner. He's not stunned, he's not shocked or held in melee. So therefore, this would be a good order enemy unit. It's not an armed good order enemy unit. He's simply just a good order enemy unit. Let me get that back up there. Okay. So again, it didn't even say good order. So that didn't even come into play. Because the good order restricts more limitations off of the scenario. This simply says squad equivalents in the building. Russian units, squad equivalents, the Russian would win. With prisoners in the building. And my question is, it doesn't make a distinction, because right now, these are captured units. Therefore, they are not good order units because they are captured by the definition we just said. The victory conditions do not make that distinction. Right? The other distinction it would make, because it probably left off good order, you might have a bunch of dudes in close combat up here. Right? These guys might be in close combat. Couple dudes here. He's in close combat here. Come on, let's jump him. Bum, bum, bum. Right? Good order doesn't matter. It's occupying the building. They just need bodies in the building. Right here, the Hungarians would win if this was the game end. They have more bodies, squad equivalents, in the building. Good order status is irrelevant. So therefore, even though these units are captured, they are not good order. Doesn't matter with the victory condition. So therefore, they should probably still count for victory conditions. That is not described in the game. So that's in my opinion, that's a hole in the game. That's a gap that needs to be answered. Because those are enemy units. Those are not friendly units. Those are not non-units. They are still units. But yet, they are enemy units, and they should still count in this particular instance. So, it didn't get to that point, but stuff like this, you need to take into consideration. Right? It specifically doesn't state. I like the tournament directors out there, not that any of them watch my stuff, but how would you rule based upon the victory conditions as such, and based upon the identities or what happens that we've covered here? How would you guys rule on that if you guys were a tournament director? What ruling would you make? Right? I would have to say they count, simply because the scenario doesn't state otherwise. As it stands, they should count. But again, luckily we didn't have to come up to that. But, that's just one of those things. So, probably a little longer than I wanted to go, but I wanted to show you guys route paths, strategies to use with your units, describing your residual firepower effect that we have in M10, bypassing locations or obstacles with residual. You get the TEM. +3 building. You get the TEM. Bypass it. Ignore the 4 firepower residual. Run through that like there's no tomorrow. You will unlikely get affected by it. You could get it, but I lost a guy to it. I broke a guy, but I didn't care. It got my guys into position. What happened? That guy can't retreat. He surrenders immediately. My enemy loses a guy. The same thing in J7, the same thing in H6. Don't just route your units to wherever, back. You kind of want to route these guys forward so the enemy, especially if you're behind him, cannot route away. This one here, in this route from H7 over to here, it's not stopping in G7, but continuing here, screwed this guy's route up, and it cost this unit its life. Literally, because he was blown apart the other day, but after that, with a Panzerfaust backblast. So, look at your routes. See how you can screw the enemy. Broken units still have value. If you get anything, go watch my SK videos. The SK players and myself have gone over extensive route instruction in SK. It's practically the same rules other than prisoners, but the concepts still apply. Right? The concepts still apply. Route better, you'll win more games. That's as simple as that. Route better. Don't just route back, maximum speed, whatever. Stay in the open. Leave a guy in the open as long as he's not low crawl in the open. If you've got high morale, you might be able to self-rally later on. If you leave a broken unit in the open, you might bait a shot on him. Who cares if he dies if he's not part of the VC? At least he's not shooting other units. Let him shoot the broken guy. Lots of guys like to kill units. Let him kill a unit. Let him kill him. He's not shooting your HMG. Let him kill that guy. All right. Take the routes. Just go back in this one. Look at the specific routes that I had in here. And there's another route that I had down here, away from this unit here that I didn't cover. I kind of slipped by it. Very important. That's another important route that you can perform. I skipped by it, but go back and watch that if you clicked it pretty fast and hit pause. And sometimes, again, like the tank right here, the one that was stunned to the +1. I think it got blew up right there. Anyway, I knew my tank was dead here. He might as well die over here. Because guess what? If he blows up here and turns into smoke, what did I just do? I put permanent smoke in H8, which is where his enemy was. If smoke is here, it does me no good. If I get blown up here, at least I have smoke in the street. Okay? If your unit's going to be destroyed, make that unit have value. My broken unit is broken. He's probably not going to rally for a turn or two. Give him value. Look for a reason to give him value. This unit up here, routes up here. Attempt to give him value. Is he more vulnerable there at location? Absolutely, he's more vulnerable. We don't care. We want him to fire upon him so he's not shooting our other good order units. Says, hey, he's only +1. You know, I'll just fire my HMG in my squad, and I'll fire my other squad on that broken unit. So now instead of a 12 shot, he's at 8 shot. Sometimes it's all you need. Sometimes it's all you need. These are the little details that you can use to improve your game. Maximize your modifiers. Maximize your route paths. If anything, maximize your route paths. Do nothing else but maximize your route paths. And you will achieve far more success than telling you not to stack or not to entrench or, you know, keep you guys in motion, all that other bullshit. Routing is far more powerful. And learn to use it, learn to love it, and you'll learn that broken units are not nothing to be pissed off about. You know? You'll be able to use them to your advantage. And as you saw here, I used them to my advantage. Cost at least the loss of 2 other squads by broken units. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, especially based upon the victory conditions. So, thank you for watching. I have no clue how long this is, but I like to try to stick on some points here, and try to beat it home. Again, one thing that you noticed, I was close to victory here. I think I had a decent chance of winning. A couple rolls here or there didn't go my way. I don't give a shit. He snaked me in close combat. Don't give a shit. I love that he did that. It was poetic, right? It was a poetic move. We fixed the problem that we had here instead of being in melee. Let's check that. Didn't feel right. So in close combat allows him to move. If he was in melee, my guys are in the building. My guys are in the building. And I probably would have won. But you got to check that rule. I think he's in close combat. Doesn't seem right. You're in motion. Close combat. He gets to move out. He got to move out instead of me stopping and him destroying. Now, likely, my tank was going to be destroyed in close combat anyway, just like the one down here. But he could have rolled a 10 or 11. He could have rolled a 10 or 11. You know, it happens. I've seen it happen. We've all been in that position. And if that happens, then, you know, my other guy, again, maybe smoke. Maybe smoke's the tank. Don't know. You know? So, again, notice. One thing you notice, what didn't I ever achieve? I tried for smoke dischargers. I didn't even cover it in the game. I didn't cover it in dice rolls. I tried smoke dischargers in almost every single hex that I could with these guys. Fail, 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 fail. I failed the entire game. 4 tanks, smoke dischargers. Failed the entire game. Fired 5 rounds. 12, mouthed the weapon. Fired the other guys. No smoke. One of these guys, I think this guy got destroyed over here. No smoke. This guy here didn't get a chance to fire smoke. I didn't get 1 smoke round off. And yet I had a decent chance of winning. Right? My whole purpose, these tanks did nothing in the game. But Ubered one guy behind the lines. You know, he door dashed the other guy, dropped off some bratwursts or some pierogies. to the Hungarians. You know, pierogies and some nice onions. God damn, they were good. But the tanks did nothing in this thing. I suck at tanks, but my infantry did pretty good. Blew the living crap out of those tanks. Made an exciting game. So, thanks. I hope you guys learned something from this. Yes, I'm a blowhard sometimes, but I like to try to get the message home because sometimes the message is missed. Sometimes the first iteration. And you know, hopefully you enjoyed it. I don't just like regular replays. I like replays with a purpose. Replays with a purpose instead of just, okay, you know, Joe won or Steve won or whatever won. It's okay. I want to show you why I'm routing a locations I'm going to. I want to show you why I'm moving in these locations. What's the hazard? You know, my guy was going to die right here. There's no point keeping that tank there. A blown up tank in that position does me no good. I'd rather have him destroyed in I-9. Throw him out there. I need to cross this damn road. The vehicle gives me cover. Blow up the damn tank right there. Go for it, Mr. T-3485. And then since he didn't do that, it's like, screw it. I might as well try and sleaze freeze this guy. That was probably a bad move, but the ATR could have just stopped. He was gone anyway. So that was a choice I made. You can choose to stop him here, park him here, and swivel. He could also always miss you next time. Right? And then you could smoke him. Drop a smoke and jump him in close combat. I'd love to see that. But I said, I'm dead anyway. Let's try something different. Let's try something different. Let's see if the shit sticks to the wall. And it did. He didn't happen to die, but he got tied up for like 2 turns. So, enjoyable game. I thank Jeff for it. I wish him luck in his future games. If you run across Jeff, he's a great guy. Fun player. You know, it's what every ASL player should strive to be like Jeff. And yeah, enjoyed. I would love to play a face-to-face game with him at some future date. Anyway, have fun, guys. Read your scenario special rules. Apply them to the game. Do not forget them. And go win more ASL games. Have a good night.